Marshall beat Notre Dame yesterday, 26-21. And boy, when I tell you it wasn't even that close, it wasn't that close. It was the most out of the blue elbow off the top rope in a crazy week two. I, for the life of me, never even paid attention to this game. And I'm sure Charles Huff and Marshall wanted it that way. But look, we talk about the winners first. Everybody wants to make a statement, okay? Every program, every player, every coach, they always ask, how do we make a statement? We're looking to make a statement. I'm going to tell you how to make a statement. Follow Marshall's lead. Go into South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame Stadium, national TV against one of the most storied programs of all time, and just take that Marshall flag and plant it right there at midfield. And then afterwards, give the following quote, courtesy of Marshall head coach Charles Huff. In-house, and no disrespect to Notre Dame, but in-house, we expected it. And you know what? When you watch the way the game played out, and they knew they had that in-house, why wouldn't you expect it? I'll put it to you another way, courtesy of IrishIllustrated.com's Tim O'Malley, because he had another really good quote on this thing I saw. Had the game continued another quarter, Marshall would have won by more. They were the better team Saturday, top to bottom. He's right. That's the most jarring part. Marshall outplayed Notre Dame across the board. Notre Dame was minus 3 turnovers. Sometimes when these upsets happen and you see the favorite was minus in the turnover battle, you say, oh, okay, so that's the way it happened. They put the ball on the ground, some fluke plays happened. I cannot stress enough, if you didn't watch this, there was nothing flukish about this. Marshall handled Notre Dame, handled them. Both lines of scrimmage handled them physically. Put them on skates right there in their own building. Notre Dame couldn't run it. They haven't been able to run it all year. They have no chemistry in the pass game, and that's due in large part to a really, really good combo of corners that Marshall has. Again, Charles Huff and his staff knew they had this. It's just most of us hadn't watched Marshall this year. We've seen him now. We've seen Marshall now. There is no special talent at quarterback at Notre Dame. I saw a Notre Dame fan put it like this. You can always count on Notre Dame for some of the most brilliantly articulated metaphors from the fan base. It was, and I'm paraphrasing, quarterback recruiting has been a bulldozer coming at us at 2 miles an hour for the last 4 years, and it finally caught us. And if you followed Notre Dame recruiting, that is so spot on. A bulldozer coming at us at 2 miles an hour. It's been so evident for so long, and yet here we are. And I think Pine had to get put in the game yesterday because QB1 got knocked out. Buckner is out of the game. Look, I don't really care moving forward because they're not dynamic enough at the position. They're like Tim said, there's no cohesiveness between quarterback and receiver there right now. They've got an unproven staff. That's the more uncomfortable part. I was, I think, still at the stadium yesterday when Trey Scott was texting me about this game, and he said, do you realize Marcus Freeman's 0-3 at Notre Dame? And it's obvious. Anyone knows a guy's record, but I hadn't thought about it like that. You had the bowl game, and then week 1, they weren't expected to win against Ohio State. So the fact that they kept it close, I was actually semi-inspired by. Woof, that's out the door. So if you had illusions of this team being a college football playoff contender, which we didn't, some people did, that's dead now. If you want them to be a double-digit win team, that dream is also essentially dead. 9 wins, probably a huge stretch at this point. The model was much lower on Notre Dame at the beginning of the season, as you'll remember. AP had them 5. We had them 14th. It turns out both of us were still too high on Notre Dame. This is a poor team right now, and they've got Cal coming up. They're favored by, I think, 12 or 13, somewhere around there. But they go to North Carolina in a couple of weeks. They've got Brigham Young, soon to be known as another name later on the show, in Vegas later in the year. And the problem is, in the preseason, there was a way in Preview Magazine time where you could run up and down this list and say, boy, outside of Ohio State, we should win every one of these games. Well, now that you've actually seen the product, there's this other train of thought that says, I could see us losing every one of these games. Because the thing you know about Notre Dame, they're not putting FCS teams on that schedule. And although UNLV's on there, outside of that, where are the games? Where do you work on anything? It's not really there, is it? So Notre Dame is in a bad way right now. They're in a bad way, and whereas I'm normally the one sitting here defending them, and I'm normally the one saying you're being a little bit too harsh on them because you've just been born to hate them, it's going to be your year. Because Notre Dame's going nowhere fast. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video, and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me, that's how we keep this entire thing free.